Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is John, aka Skyward FPV. Welcome to my first review. I've been thinking about doing them for a while and figured what the hell, let's give it a go. So my first review is going to be for a 180 size quad. Everybody's been talking about them a lot lately, and they say smaller quad, smaller gap to fly through, more maneuverability, but with smaller props you get less power. So what I got today is the Shendrones Tweaker, and it actually has capability for 2204 size motors. I happen to have a whole lot of them lying around for other racing quad stuff, so I figured it would be fun to use a lot of components I happen to have and build something small and see what it's like. So let's take a look. So we get our card. So actually, I've heard that the name of the Tweaker comes from a joke that the designer, Andy Shen, had with a friend talking about being addicted to FPV and whatnot, and hence the name Tweaker, drug addict. Why not? So we get the base plate, which, it being the FPV edition, is nice and thick. And I want to say it's 3mm. We'll check that out here in a second. You get your risers. You get the top plate, a bunch of screws. You get a camera mount, and you get some blue crystal meth. Seriously, you get blue crystals in this bag. Okay, so let's weigh it. Let's see how it compares to like a ZMR. All right, so let's see here. So base plate is approximately 65 grams. Let's add the rest of the components. So bare, it's about 89 grams. And a ZMR in the bag is 141 grams. And since everybody, probably would like to know, you get 2 grams of meth. So let's build it. So I'm done with the build. It was pretty straightforward. If you follow the build log on the Shendrones website, there's a step-by-step instructions on how to do it. And it was pretty straightforward. If you've built other 250 size quads, it's really similar. The main hurdle I had is that since this base plate is so thick, the screws that came with the Cobra motors wouldn't work, and I had to dig around to try to find the right size screws. I could find screws that were really long, but it took me a while to find just the right length, and I'll put the length I used in the description below. But other than that, and having some issues with not being able to, or soldering before putting shrink wrap tubing on there, and realizing I'll probably need to find a shorter battery strap for it. It was fun, and I'm happy with how it turned out. I think it's a really attractive looking quad. So I think I'm going to take it out to the field and give it its first flight. So there you go. It's a really fun little multi-rotor to fly. In comparison to a larger craft, the small props give it different flight characteristics where it drops or it descends really quickly under low throttle, especially loaded up with a GoPro. And if you're running a 3S battery, you definitely have to give it a lot of throttle. With a 4S battery, you don't have to give it quite as much, and it's definitely much more responsive. It's definitely much more affected by the wind, where on the day I was testing, it definitely was a gusty, windy day, and I had to fight against that wind a bit. Let's take a closer look. So with the 3S battery on top, and without running the HD camera, I think it's actually a perfect size for a backyard quad. 4S only increases its capabilities and its nimbleness, and it's really, really acrobatic and fun to fly. You'll notice here that the GoPro just barely fits with a 1000 or 1300 mAh battery. You really can't fit a Mobius on the top when running the battery on top. Now, you can run the battery on the bottom, which actually kind of improves the flight characteristics, where you have your weight much more evenly balanced. My problem is that I land rather hard sometimes, and I think I'd be afraid of replacing batteries very, very often. It's just my preference that I like the battery on top. So it really is a quad that's made for proximity flying. Through tight, twisty, wooded areas, through obstacles and the sort, you definitely notice a lack of thrust and response with these props in comparison to 5 or 6 inch props. But the way this thing yaws, it's like instantaneous. And I think it's true that they say smaller multi-rotors do make you feel like a better pilot. So I really look forward to doing some proximity flying with this soon, and I'll try to upload some footage if I can. So since the build, I've obviously added a GoPro and 3D printed mount to get flight footage. I swapped out the Fat Shark VTX antenna for the shorter IB Crazy race spec antenna, and I shortened the power lead here to the PDB a bit. I plan on designing a 3D printed camera mount for the front here for this FPV camera too. I did have to swap out a motor. So here is a public service announcement. These Cobra motors here are very high performance, but the 3200 kV editions have weak motor shafts, and they will bend on hard impacts, like this. And if you try to put it right back up without knowing that you bent a motor shaft, this is what it looks like to burn out a motor. So I'd really like to sincerely thank you for watching. If you did like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe. It would really help me out and let me know you'd like to see some more. So once again, Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. If I can speak right. Anyway. Yeah.